Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming. As you all know, and I won't repeat the events of yesterday, since then we've been busy through the course of the day, yesterday afternoon through the course of the evening, although the evening hours were primarily focused with social services assessing all the displaced occupants of the building and the 1382 Ouellette Avenue, and ensuring that they were provided accommodations at the Radisson. At that same time and concurrently, the Ministry of Labour was in custody of the site. Throughout the evening, the police services protected the site, provided resources, as well as fire and other of our agencies, and building together with the engineer for the landowner and the owner of the building met on site today, and a short while ago the chief building official as well as the deputy chief building official communicated with Leanne Doyle subsequent to the meeting on site. They've confirmed that the apartment building is structurally independent of the parking facility. And as a result, the order that was prohibiting occupancy at 1382 Ouellette Avenue has been lifted and is being removed, and that building has been deemed inhabitable. The residents that are at Radisson will be made aware of that in the next little while. However, they will be permitted to return, but we will be beginning to arrange their return tomorrow morning, and there's a reason that we've delayed it a day. Most of those residents are working shift work, so some of them have gone to work already. The last thing we want to do is inconvenience them coming back at midnight and finding out that they have to go to their place instead of Radisson. So, and plus we're on the second day of the charges anyways, so they will continue to be accommodated at Radisson if they so choose to. And then tomorrow morning, approximately at 10 a.m., there'll be a Transit Windsor bus made available to transport them back to their homes, while at the same time understanding that some residents may want to get back into the building today. They will be able to do that in short order. As of last night, yesterday evening, we had 19 rooms occupied, 19 rooms occupied, 25 individuals and 2 pets. And that was the tally as of last night and early this morning. The review that took place on site today, and all my colleagues here will be able to address it. They've also confirmed that the commercial 4-story building can be occupied with some conditions. You may be aware of this, you may not be aware of it. That building was vacated. Commercial occupancy of that building was prohibited today, but based on the review, it can be occupied with some conditions. Those conditions, as I understand, run with the access to the basement, because there's a fire door that leads into the parking facility, but there will be conditions placed on that. In light of all the information that's been received and all the decisions that have been made this morning, the emergency order will be lifted and will be terminated, and the fire chief will be doing that and communicating that on my behalf to the province, and now they'll begin the work of getting back to whatever they got to get back to in terms of normal, however you can describe normal. The landowner and the building owner in this case will be charged with the responsibility of cleaning up the site, structurally shoring up the site, and whatever remediation is required under the site, and that will be the responsibility of the owner and the owners. But that's where we're at. We're available for questions. If you guys want to add anything, please go ahead.
Are we any closer to finding out why this garage collapsed?
Again, I'm not an engineer. I think I'll defer to Ms. Doyle, but I think they have a pretty good understanding, but the reports are being written. We expect that the engineer that's been hired by the landowner and by the building owner will be in a position to provide us a written report sometime this afternoon with his assessments, but I'll defer to Ms. Doyle on that.
The mayor.
Hold on.
Yes, the mayor is very correct that we are awaiting the report of the structural engineer. We anticipate getting that this afternoon. Our staff will have an opportunity to review it, at which time we will confirm the information in terms of causes. We have some, understand there could be some of the reasons for that, possibly, but we wanted to ascertain and confirm that based on the structural integrity report that we received this afternoon.
You guys said that the building, 4-story building, can be occupied with conditions, and I know you went into a little bit about the basement. What sort of other conditions, if there are any? If you could just push my microphone just a little bit more that way. Yeah, that way. Thank you.
Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have the specifics of those conditions. We are awaiting those conditions, and they'll be part of the report that we're going to be given this afternoon.
Are you going to be making that report available to us, or do we have to go to this engineer to get it?
We will have to confirm that at a later time. We have to have clearance. Obviously, it's not our proprietary report. We don't release those. Those are the property of the engineer. It would be their responsibility to release that. It wouldn't be the city's.
Do we know at this point how many vehicles were in the lower level that were crushed?
I don't think we have an accurate number, but the report may speak to that. I know just visually looking at it today, I'd say there's definitely more than 3 or 4 cars down there. But again, I would caution against us speculating. I think this report's going to speak to the structural engineer's assessment.
Any idea when we might go in to structurally secure that?
Again, I think the first step in this process, as Ms. Doyle has indicated, is to get the structural engineer on site. That took place. They conduct their assessment. That took place. They then draw up their conclusions, and that's what we're waiting for. Once the conclusions are drawn up, the recommendations will be contained therein, at which point in time it will be the landowner and the commercial properties owner's responsibility to take immediate steps to shore it up. Fencing has been erected around the site, or is in the process of being erected, so it's a secured site, and it will become the responsibility of the owner to clean up.